Hi, this is Toby, and today I'll be showing you how to repot Astrophytum cactus. Now, the reason I'm making a video specifically on repotting Astrophytum is because they have little flecks or flocking on them that if you touch them too much, it will come off. So we're going to start with repotting different types. So we're going to start by repotting my asterias. I know it doesn't really look like it needs a repot, but because it's growing pretty quickly, I'm going to repot it. And first of all, I'm going to get my soil out, which is the one I made in one of my videos on how to make cactus soil. So if I move the camera up to show you the process. Now with this little asterias, it's not a super Kabuto variety or anything. It doesn't have that much little flocking on them, so this one's going to be relatively easy to repot. So we take the tag out, and what I like to do is squeeze this. The pot is kind of tight and there are roots coming out the bottom, so I think it should be healthy and it may need a repot. So if I can gently squeeze, making sure if it comes out, it's not even coming out. It comes out. So that's what the little astro looks like. You can see, very beautiful. One of these pots, you can see it looks pretty nice in one of these pots. And because I know this growing season, luckily there's a mesh there as well, that it will grow really quickly. And again, this is a kind of a deep taproot. So if I can show you, nice little Astrophytum, which is why I'm using a deep pot, because of this taproot. If I use a thinner pot or a slimmer pot like this, you can see it doesn't really fit in there. And if I use a wide pot, that fit its depth would be pretty wide. This is why I'm using a deeper pot. I've had this plant for only around a couple of months only, so, or half a year I'd say. So let me get my soil scoop and put a layer of soil on the bottom, just like with most cactus repots. That's a good level. So just like repotting any cactus, but making sure that you don't handle the plant as much. Now this is the flocking on this isn't that much of an issue because there's barely any at such a young stage. I can move this over. But once it starts to get with the myriostigmas, it will become a bit more of a problem. And the reason because they come off very easily. That's enough of soil around the roots, and I know it's a bit dirty on the top. That doesn't really matter, I can clean that off later, and I'll show you how to clean it off. So now I'm going to top dress, and in fact I'm top dressing some pumice just to make it look a bit better. So here's a pumice, and I apologize for the background noise. I'm just gonna make sure that the plant is in the center of the pot, top dress it with some pumice. Get a blow, and I think that looks pretty good to me. My little asterias repotted, one of these sleek tall pots. I will add a bit more pumice, and it might change the soil composition a bit, but it's not really that much of an issue. So again, put some of the excess off the edges, tap it to make sure everything's nice and snug. Okay, so what I will be doing now is putting the soil bucket away, is cleaning it. So again, I said this is only an asterias, and there's barely any of the little, whatever you want to call it, the little white dots on it. There's so many terms you can call it, trichomes. I think that's a proper term for it. So again, you've already seen me blow the plant already to remove the heavy particles, but with the light fine dusty particles, we're not going to wash it with water. Okay, you never do that. I would never wash any cactus with water, because if water evaporates too quickly on the skin, it can cause it to burn. And cacti usually doesn't burn if kept under dry conditions, but if you put water on the skin and it evaporates really quickly, it will burn. So I have a little brush, a paintbrush, unused paintbrush. I'm literally, pretend you're painting the plant very gently. You can see you have the little white dots on them, and I just do this, they don't come off. Because a brush is very delicate and gentle, I can clean the plant without having to worry about the thing coming off. Again, you can clean some of the sides of the pot if you want. Let's put some of that in. Comes out, it comes out. So that's an asterias repotted. And if I look at it, I'm quite happy with this pot. So we'll move on to the myriostigma. So here's a myriostigma, and if you're wondering why I'm recording this over several days, it's just because I'll repot when I have time, when I feel like it. So I'm just recording this process, and this is a myriostigma quadricostatum, a four-sided star. So if you can see, it's four-sided instead of your regular five-sided myriostigma. So again, we're gonna put it in here, and with this, you got to be extra careful not to rub the little trichomes off. If you look at it, it's densely covered, and if you know me, I love my Astros, I don't touch them that often. So this is in pretty good shape. The only part that lacks a bit of it is at the bottom, but that's when I got it. So if you see the light growth, the light colored trichomes, compared to where they're more duller, the light colored ones is a new growth. And it's grown a lot this year already, which is why I'm repotting it. Last year, if I just bring my camera to the plant, if I take a top view, you can see how it almost matches the width of the container. Last year it was a lot smaller, and you can see the areoles have gone much more fuzzier, so it just shows it's maturing and it needs a repot. Now I didn't choose a pot beforehand because I haven't seen the roots of this. So with so many trichomes, we don't want to get our hands just start rubbing it or grabbing it really tightly. I'm going to gently, if you see the corner of the ribs, just grab that. The less contact you have, the better. And the reason is, if you have a lot of contact, you're going to lose a lot more trichomes. And I'm just checking if touching that is going to affect it that badly. No, it won't. So instead of placing it on your palm, if you can see, I'm being very gentle. I'm not twisting the plant. In fact, I may actually not touch it at all, because as I said, the less contact, the better. So I'm going to see if I can push it. I think it's a bit root bound, but that's alright. The bottom has already come out. There we go. And that is a decent root system. So we're going to tease a bit of it away at the bottom, checking that there's no disease. And because it's quite a deep container, the root system would be quite deep. And in case you guys haven't seen Astrophytum roots, I'll show you. You see, it just tapers to a single root and then it divides. So that's a very, very beautiful Astro. And now I have to find a pot for it. And if you're wondering, won't I make the trichomes dirty by doing this? Yes, it will, but again, I have the brush method. So with that size plant, I would rather have a square pot, but obviously I don't think I have one on me at the moment. This will do. I'll see if I can find a square pot, and if not, we will stick with this. So I will go and find a pot. So upon returning, I have the option of two pots, either this or the round one. And the square one isn't much bigger from the other one, and it barely fits, so we're gonna have to go with the round one. I know I'd rather have a square pot to complement the angles of the plant, but that's okay. Next time we repot, I also have this, which I think I'll use for next time when repotting. You can see it's a bit large for this plant. So we place soil on the bottom. Again, I tease the roots out, and I'm just filling in. Can you guys see? I'm just filling the soil in, just like you would any other cactus. The only difference about Astrophytums is you can't touch them that much, so that's always a challenge. So okay, so now that it stands by itself, you would want to have no contact apart from repositioning it. Again, remember what I said, the less contact the better. Now we're gonna have to top dress it either pumice or any other grit you have, and I think I will use something else, so I'll come back with it. it's like a little, it's like grit, and it's red in color, this. So just making sure the plant is centered. So if you can see, I haven't tapped it yet. That's how you repot a myriostigma. Then we tap it. If anything comes up, we throw it out. And I have a bit left in there. It's a bit slanted. That's fine. We can always tuck it under. Make sure your plant is positioned in the center of the pot. It's very important. Well, it's a bit deep. It's fine. It looks like a little box, and that's what we want it to look like. So that's a myriostigma repot, and next will be a capricorne. So now we're going to repot the capricorne, and this is similar to the myriostigma. We're going to first remove it out of this little pot that it's in. See, the roots are quite nice. Just tease it a bit, slightly. I want to see if there's a thick taproot, and the taproot isn't too thick. If I can show you, it's not too thick. So sometimes they do have quite a deep taproot sometimes. So again, you can see I'm touching it on the ribs so I don't rub the little flecks off. And again, repotting it just like you repot any other cactus. So I'll move this forward so you can see. Holding the plant in place with very gentle grip. Putting the soil around. And making sure that the plant is in the center. And that is not very centered, so we will try again. Put a bit too much, I think that's a little bit too much soil at the bottom. So if you're not doing it properly, you can always pour it out and try it again. Better to do it early than when you finish repotting a top dress and you look at it and you're like, oh, it's a bit off center. So make sure after you put some soil in, you check, and that looks not that bad. We're just gonna lift it up a bit. I hope you guys can see. You guys can see that. And again, it's gonna get a bit dirty. I know last time with the myriostigma quadricostatum, I didn't really need to brush it or anything because it didn't get too dirty. And what I'm gonna do now with this is top dress it again. So again, just top dress like so. And all this extra I'll put back because I don't think we need it. Again, I'm doing this all over my soil, my little soil pot, just so that when any extra soil falls, it goes in the pot. So I hope that focused. But before I do anything else, you can see it's a bit dusty. So again, with the little brush, we're gonna just gently paint it, or I should say remove the dust. Now again, this is a very gentle process. You can see I'm not breaking spines, I'm not tearing. I'm gently putting my brush in between the gaps of the ribs and just brushing any soil away. So now that it's all clean, we're gonna put this in the greenhouse. I'll show you the product. So here are the finished items or products, and this is the one we just did, the little capricorne. We did the quadricostatum here, and we also did the asterias. Now, with the ornatums, it's pretty much similar to the capricorns. They have spines as well, and they have the little flecks or specks or dots. So I don't need to show you that. But that's basically how you repot an Astrophytum and not damage it. You can see it hasn't been damaged. It's all the little white dots are still there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next one. Bye.